everybody, my name is Todd Bright. Welcome to All in Gestures Redline Lives. Redline Live is our Q&A and feedback session, and we do this once a week on Wednesdays, and our regular workshop, our drawing workshop, is on Saturdays, but you can catch both live or recorded, and yeah, there you have it. So today we do some stuff. Who are we? Where are we? We're on Instagram, and we also on YouTube. Matt and Jenny's here, Luke is here, Megan W's here, Corey's here. Awesome, awesome. Glad you made it live. I love it when the members show up. We could banter, things like that. But yeah, over in Instagram, I see you. Sarah is over there. And I appreciate you taking some time to hang out with us and look at drawings. Well, first up is Corey. Nice stuff this week, Mr. Corey. Very awesome. So this week's theme, for those of you who are joining us on Instagram or have never taken our workshop, we have a themed model every week. And this week's theme was theme park fan, theme park super fan. So Corey did a great job this week, and with some nice drawings here. So we had different theme park moments. So basically, if you could picture yourself being excited to get to a theme park, and then being there and the fun and the stress of it, and then being exhausted at the end of the day. That was kind of our story arc that our model took us through. Looking at this bottom pose here, I try to think about body language. Like in this particular pose, it was like the end of the day pose. Really tired from the day. And I feel like your pose is like he could be dragging a dead body, or in this case, he was felt like a dead body, which was like tons of merchandise and things like that. And the arms up, and I think he could be doing anything. I think the main point was like exhaustion. I almost want to bend his back a little bit. Like he's so exhausted, you know, and he's like dragging his feet, you know. And I think your drawing looks good. You got the proportions down. I do like this straight. I'm all big fan of straights and curves. Nice straight in your arm there, but I almost wanted to curve his arm. Again, I'm just trying to feel like that, you know, like really get into the mindset of your subject, whether it's a character or a person, but maybe dragging his feet a little bit, hunching the back over, you know. I don't mind your head back idea. That's pretty cool, you know. But maybe, what if we slunk his head down? I know I didn't do this in my pose either, but when I did my drawing. But what if we kind of like everything's like 1,000 pounds? Like his head is 1,000 pounds. The stuff he's dragging is 1,000 pounds. You know, he's 1,000 pounds. You know what I mean? And like your bags can just be these. You know, I like that you kind of had this drag mark idea. That's kind of fun. Maybe the bags are ripped open now that we have to think about all these things, and there's stuff trailing along, you know. But yeah, maybe he can't even look what he's doing there. He's supposed to be holding up his keys, everybody. Sorry, I think it's blocking my little video head is blocking the way here. So yeah, anyway, all that to say, just figuring out a little bit more of that body language. So with that one, but very cool. I was looking at your selfie stick one here. I don't quite remember what Matt was doing there, what our model was doing. But in order to make some things read, and maybe Matt's arm was in that position, kind of like straight at us, kind of an idea. But I think sometimes we need to move some things around. I'm just going to check our Instagram real quick. Got some folks joining in. Thanks for hanging with us. Again, you guys, please ask any questions tonight. We had some really good questions last week. And yeah, really cool. And some good banter. I like the banter. I like your overall dude here. You know, I love the angles you got. You know, the opposing angles. I think it's fun. He's holding up his doll that he got. But I almost want to push that arm out. Oh, I think I'm gonna still getting the bugs working out of our Redline Live here, guys. Trying to make it work across all the wonderful platforms, but sorry, I was looking at our chat real quick. Okay, I was just moving my drawing out of the way here. All right, here we go. I love the lean you got. Very cool. I'm just going to mimic that. You got your little thing you're showing off, your merchandise. But I almost want to get that camera arm, since it's on a selfie stick. Like a selfie stick, it's like you want to get that thing, that camera, as far enough, far away from you, right? Like that, like straight arm and a straight camera. He's getting the height on the camera. I don't know if what the appropriate thing here is, but I almost want to have the camera up there, his telephone, right? And even if the arm is that the model's got going on is right at us, I almost want to cheat it anyway. You know, like go ahead and push things around. But that helps that silhouette, you know what I mean? And then he could be, you know, and if he did that, he might start playing with some head angles and things. Like maybe he's making eye contact, you know. I think your silhouette looks really nice of your merchandise there that he's holding up. But yeah, so does that make sense? So get it away from you. You know, clear the road there. Let's work on those silhouettes. But other than that, looks really good. You had a really nice walk cycle, I noticed in one of the drawings you sent me. I didn't load it up here, but it looked really good. All right, moving on. Erica Bay. Great job, Corey. All right, Erica Bay. What are we doing here? All right, so this is our model. In the part of his story, he was putting on sunscreen. I think I remember this one. And this is one of our early poses. And I like what you did here, Erica. I think it looks really good. Let's see here. Yeah, I think he is rubbing it in his arm. That's what's going on. And I think there was a pose before that he actually had the bottle. Sorry about my internal processing here, since I don't have it in front of me, or in front of you guys. But how can we make this unique? You know, it almost looks like he might be a little bit in pain, like his head is really resting on his own shoulder. I don't know if that's. I'm just gonna mess around a little bit. So just for the sake of the layer here. Oh, I'm doing it again, man. Okay, move him over my little drawing here. There we go. Okay. It's an interesting one. Yeah, I think the question of this thing is motivation. Like, just thinking of acting. What is the motivation here? If what is his? Does he like putting on sunscreen because he's excited that he's almost ready to to go on his adventure, or is he pissed about it like my kids are whenever we have to put sunscreen on? Sorry, I'm making my legs longer here after I shrank my drawing down. But I almost want to push things out just a little bit more. And I think the main thing I wanted to do was maybe he's got a sunscreen bottle sticking out of his pocket or something. I never would have thought of that in class either, but you know, we're just talking about plussing things, pushing performances, making things read right away. So maybe that's where you could put that. I mean, it could be on the ground next to him, or you know, but I almost wanted to push the eye contact, you know, like the head angle, and he's looking down. But this is so much with animation stuff. We always are looking at the eye. Is the eye of your character, you know, looking where it's supposed to, or is it looking off some in the distance, you know, when it should be looking at his arm, you know? So yeah, it's just tweaks. I kind of dropped his shoulder down instead of jammed it back. I kind of pushed it forward a little bit, so it was like you have more of a little bit of a stretch there. But other than that, cool beans, man. This one looked really good. Let's see here. Yeah, I thought this looked good, Erica. You know, Matt had such a happy walk he gave us. It was very animated, which really helps when our model gives us like a fun animated pose. You know, sometimes it's like, well, how do I push that? It's so good, you know. But there's always room to push things around when we really want to. So, but let's see, can I do anything with this one? I don't know. I dig it. Maybe, and this is just because I've been looking at your drawings. You're so great about submitting, and Erica really works hard at the craft, you know. I think I'm drawing on the head of your guy here. Hang on. This is just a little ground plane thing I'm noticing on this particular drawing. And there was something else I was going to bring up real quick, and then we'll move on. But just pay attention to that ground plane when you're doing these walk cycles, or you know, this kind of a thing. Well, for any drawing, really. Just make sure you're weighted to the ground. So our character's right leg is in the front, right? And his left leg's in the back. So your ground plane guy here, this leg, his back leg should be further in the back here. Does that make sense? So on that plane. So naturally his right leg would be closer to us. So just watch that ground plane, and you'll be good to go. And it'll help it not feel like he's cross-legged, like he's off balance, or you know, just something feels off. I've noticed too, with your stuff, I was going to say, just make sure you get some neck with your characters. You know, Matt's a pretty stocky, muscular kind of guy, you know, so he has a thicker neck. Some people have thicker necks, some people have more narrow, longer. It's really obvious, but I've noticed, make sure you work on getting that neck in there. Last week we talked about some of those neck muscles and things when we were talking about our head angle problem. So yeah, that's all. Get that neck in there. And that's it. All right. Great job, Erica B. Woohoo. Moving on. Sarah. All right, I'm going to check that chat real quick since we're in between victims. Mr. James Finch. Are you still here, buddy? See you over there on Instagram. I just saw James Finch. Came here to Florida. James is an awesome visual development guy and a great buddy of mine from the old days. And the current days. What? And, yeah, we had a great time catching up. So anyway, this is Sarah's drawings. And, what are we doing here? Sarah had a few questions when she submitted this drawing. I think it's really fun what you did. Trying to remember this pose here. I don't know if he's singing, he's got his hat, or if he's just excited, like he's just so pumped to be there. Yeah, your questions were talking about tying, I think, the different pieces and parts together, from what I can recall. And if I got that wrong, I'm so sorry, Sarah. But I really like a lot of what you did. I think tying things together has a lot to do with that, those initial stages, you know. I think Matt's legs. Here, I'm just gonna show you. I have it in front of me here. So Matt's legs. Get out of there. There it is. Are kind of bowed out, right? But I like the side view here. You can see the bend in it. And so when I'm searching for like an attitude, sometimes I might cheat things. Like he's just like so happy, you know, to be there. He's just holding his hat. And he's just, you can't see my legs right now, but I'm kind of like melting. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm melting, you know. And so I might do something that's different than what's in front of me. You know, kind of like we talked about with Corey's drawing a little bit ago. We're trying to make that feeling of exhaustion, that weighted, you know, like, and just pushing that idea, you know. And it's almost like our character here is smitten, you know, in a way, like he's in love, and really trying to find that motivation to cling onto as an artist, because, you know, as they say, right, animators are actors. And I'm going to push that further and say, so are illustrators, so are story people. You know, we're searching for that moment, that performance, right? And I like what you did with the head back. You know, he's looking up at something. But I might just kind of making a mess here. I might just reverse that back leg, man. You know, or even take it a little further. Give him some knock knees. Oop. So I'm gonna fix my own mess here. Oop. I don't like this eraser. Who is screaming? Whose kids are those? I have no idea. I think my son just scared the heck out of my daughter. That's funny. Anyway, so yeah, maybe he's in love and giving him some knock knees, you know. And it's not necessarily that, you know, yours are wrong, but you were talking, you know, your question, you know, how do you find that? And I think it's like you're finding body language, or you're relating one pose to another. And this all happens in a really fast instant, right? In these gesture drawing moments, or drawing in the wild. And then you could go and put your fanny pack on and things like that. But, you know, if he's smitten, if he's swooning, like everything's just relaxed, like, you know, shoulders are down, right? Head is back. I think of Aladdin. Remember that in that movie? In Aladdin, where he was, he's telling the genie about this girl that he's in love with, and he's just like, he does this, this thing with his neck, you know. Glenn Keane animated that scene, and I'm sure, and it was so exaggerated. It almost looks like it wouldn't work, but it totally works. And yeah, just he's turned into Jello, right? And I'm gonna quit harping on it. But that's all I got to say. Good stuff. I love this one. I just want to say great job. That's why I'm showing it. So really nice, Sarah. All right, moving on. Luke. Mr. Luke. All right, Luke, your stuff's getting more and more expressive and fun. And I always like it when you do your little, like these studies on the side to push your own poses, which I love that. That's great. With this guy here, I would just tweak things a little bit just to do it since you submitted it. But I love the bend you have in the line of action of the body. I think that's great. So I'm just gonna copy that. Let's see here. I think I've got. I'm gonna draw too large here, so bear with me. I'm gonna tweak my little Photoshop-y thing here, just so it fits in my little window here. Okay, here we go. All right, so I think this is this is when Matt was taking his selfies here, and I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it. I'm all for pushing silhouettes. So if he's kind of like pointing at the subject, in this case it was me as the artist teacher, kind of using his thumb. He's like holding the selfie camera or whatever, and he's kind of going like this, And in order to make that read, I don't necessarily dislike what you did, but I do want to try it to push it beyond his body and maybe lift this arm up a little bit higher. I think I'm doing what I say not to do and cramming it on my page here in Photoshop, but it almost looks like he's pointing to himself. So maybe not such a great idea to do that. But one of the things I was thinking about when I was looking at your drawings is I think it's time, my man, to really start getting some of those anatomies put in your drawings. Like, go ahead and start, because you do, and I look at, and it's, these drawings get a little parallel, like some of the appendages, and they start to flatten out. And I know we're doing quickly, and I get it, but I think you can start finding ways to use anatomy, and it's fast. Like, and you're going to start using the curves, and the straights. You got your straights, but your calf muscles and things like that. And it doesn't have to be this flat. I'm just trying to make a point of go ahead and start doing that, because I think your attitudes and things that you're doing, you're making good, bold decisions. You're exploring. And I think now it's like adding a little bit more of that knowledge, because I know you've been studying, and just applying that. Okay? But yeah. Let's see, how are we doing on time? We're doing great. Okay. That's it, Mr. Luke. Same here with this stuff. You can see the legs, just the boxy, and I think you could start pushing those anatomy. Yeah, and when I say anatomy, I'm not asking you to stiffen up. I'm just saying I think it's time for you to push those things just a little bit. I don't want, keep that storytelling. You can always add in anatomy, right? But I just think you're going to find a lot of good rhythm in your drawings meaning how things are going to flow from one thing to the next. We talk about rhythm a lot, right? As you start to apply some different shape, okay? One thing I was thinking about with this suntan thing here, I wonder if we could do, I'm not looking at what Matt had done in this pose, but I almost want to make this a little more clear. He's squirting out this blob of suntan stuff. So just kind of like exaggerating that a little bit, lifting that up, making that really nice and clear. And yeah, maybe drop that shoulder so you can give his head a little bit more height so we can get that eye contact going. Maybe I could have pushed mine even more, that head angle down. Just to get everything, because you want your audience, you want to tell that story, right? And you want your audience to be really clear that it reads really fast. And so, you know, I think I butchered that arm there. But anyway, that's all. Just watch that silhouette and push that silhouette. Other than that, good stuff, dude. All right, Lori. I love this bird idea, Lori. Very cool. Oh, looking at that chat. Sarah Kaysen, thank you, Sarah. I see you over there. Awesome. Oh, YouTube. You can ask questions too, you know. There's a chat open. Okay. My YouTubers. Okay, this was our fearless hero eating popcorn out of his Darth Vader helmet. And let's see here. I'm trying to find the pose here. What was he doing there? He had all the goods, man. Yeah, Matt really hooked us up. Sorry, I'm just looking for stuff, everybody. I like how you have the popcorn off to the side. That's very cool, and I think you switched it so he's, you know, you have your fun story here of the birds attacking or eating all the popcorn. Maybe while he's not looking. It's hard to tell, or maybe he is looking and he's sharing. I'm not sure. But I'm going to go with the idea, and this note is, I think, for either idea, that he's sharing with the birds, all happy, hey, you know, or he's not paying attention and stuffing his face while the birds are eating his food and he doesn't notice. But the note is, I think things are getting a little even here, okay? Not so much your proportions, they look pretty good, but the angles, like the shoulders and the hips, okay? And it's a little flat. So I love the idea, super cute. So how can we push it, you know? I'm gonna go with the idea, sorry, I was checking our chat over here with the members. Cool. You're welcome, Mr. Luke. Really good stuff. You're welcome, Corey. Awesome. I'm going to go with the idea that the birds are doing this and he's not paying attention to the thievery. So I'm going to have him leaning away and maybe do what you did here with his, you know, if he's stuffing his face and he's holding his Darth Vader helmet of popcorn, which is crazy. It's like he's eating brains. Awesome. But yeah, I almost want to stuff his face. Oh, yeah, because you would cup your hands And I think it would be just like you have it. Maybe he's looking up like, and I'm tempted to bring this arm out with the silhouette. Rather than in. You have yours in. So I'm kind of bringing it out. And see, it's almost like he's, I'm kind of shifting the weight a little bit so his weight's a little off-centered. He's just kind of like this motion of let's see here. And this bucket's further away. I'm just going to make it a circle kind of thing. And the birds are here. Sorry, I think I buried it underneath my head. I'll move it in a second. Let's see here. Maybe it's like a fistful. I don't know. But I like what you did there with the bird down here. It's super cute. And then his, I don't know, what does he have? Like some kind of hat on. We'll do like a Mickey hat. But all that to say, so I gotta fix that crazy leg there. Looks like somebody's chewing on his foot. What the? There we go. So, yeah, just kind of mixing it up a little bit. Again, I went with the thought that he's so engrossed in what he's eating that he's not paying attention to the scavenger bird over here. Caw. Okay. And yeah, that's it. So yeah, just being careful not to be too even. There's always a way to like do a nice weight shift, something to give it some interest. So that's all. This one I thought looked really good. Lori, let's see here. I think I like the... There we go. Hey, whose kids are those screaming? Where's my coffee? I need it. Coffee. All right. Sorry guys, just checking chats and things over here. Looking at my top of my head, maybe. All right, cool. Again, if you guys have any questions or anything, this is our Q&A and feedback session. So we got lots to draw tonight, so I may not to get to a whole lot of questions, but I love it. I can talk and draw. All right, same with this one. Lori, with our initial, this one, it almost looks like he's happy, even though this was the exhausted at the end of the day kind of a moment for him. Let's see, I think you have his chest out. He almost looks victorious. Yeah, I kind of want to collapse his chest the other way. Like he's just barely hanging on, you know. It's like in that moment, nothing is, you know, everything's heavy. Everything, like I was saying, including himself. This is the other angle, which is very cool. This is going to be the key fob here. Beep boop. Where's my car? Did we park in Darth Vader brains? Where are we? You know, almost like kind of drawing noodly. But, you know, at the end of the day, everything's noodles, right? Your arms are noodles. You can be dragging that bag there, or child. Speak from my own experience. All right. His shirt can be really just weighted to the ground, you know? I don't mind the head back idea if, you know, just like can't keep his head up either way. I mean, I'm tempted to drop the head like the other pose, but let's just try it. You know, it's like, somebody help me. He had his hat on. So yeah, all that to say, push and reverse some stuff. Get him more slouchy. I think my proportions got a little weird, but I think the body language is a little bit more defeated and not as victorious. All right, but really nice ideas this week, Lori. Really loved it. RW. All right, RW. Some really good proportions this week. Really nice stuff. This one I was trying to remember. I think Matt had dropped something. This walk is very happy. Very cool. I like the forward energy you got out of the pose. Very cool. There's something about this area that I wonder if we could do something with it. I like the arc of the back you got. Very cool. Again, I'm just looking for some body language here. I think Matt was putting together his phone like it had fallen or something like that. So I kind of like that you have it lifted up a little higher, and I like that you cleared his leg. Yeah, I almost wanted to mess with this angular line here with the arm and kind of bring it in a little bit more of like at this angle. And I might be pushing your idea here. Something about it. And I think too, like, even if you have this nice space in here, which is really good, this negative space to say, okay, it's a nice clear path of what he's looking at. I think I'm just wanting to mess with that angle. All right, I'm gonna move on. All right, got your happy walk, which I dig. And this one, I think this is the same car one. One thing we could do just to mess around a little bit is, I mean, I think he's stepping forward here with this leg and just watching that ground plane. I think it's reversed a little bit. So maybe reverse it this way. I know I'm kind of drawing on your drawing here. Yeah, this is a tough one as far as storytelling because it was kind of like he lost something and then he found it after looking through his bag. I'm just going to draw a blob here, whatever it is he's holding. It's kind of like, yay, I found it. All right, I didn't do a whole lot here. I just was looking at reversing that leg, so if this leg is going to be in front, I gotta keep that ground plane pretty good. Nice work this week, RW. A lot of good movement in your drawing, so really keep it up. This, Holly. Holly, I want you to watch your proportions a bit. I'm just going to do something for fun, so I'm not necessarily saying I want you to change your drawing to this pose, but just so we've done it a few times, I want to do something different. Maybe the bags are here in the middle. He's dragging his foot back here. He's kind of dragging that drawing. Sorry, I'm going to shrink it down. I don't want to totally draw on your drawing here a bit more. I'm just going to put the hand blob up there. But anyway, so Holly, just this is something I've noticed in your drawings. I love how you use pen. This is excellent because it does help make decisions, things like that. But let's watch those proportions. If you could just make your heads a little bit bigger, I think you would start to even things out a little bit. I don't mind the long legs, but maybe we could drop that crotch because he had such baggy clothes on, right? But just watch your head sizes, and I think that's going to start to address some of the proportion things. And maybe even get the head going a little bit sooner than later. You know, I have a tendency to save the head for later, just so I could push around the balance of my drawing. But I'm finding that I'm slowly wanting to change that for my own sake. So we all kind of go through things like that, like little changes in our habits. But all that to say, even just to indicate, it's like I feel like you're finding some nice simple movement with your pen, which is great. And but I feel like you can watch those proportions a little bit stronger and start pushing some of your weight one way or the other and some of your stuff. So, but good stuff, Holly. Thank you for sharing this week. And Megan. All right, Megan. Cool. Let's see, we got this one. That one, he's super excited. Let's see, this one. I think we could, let's see, let's try to get a general note here. This one was pretty cool. He's like, come on, everybody. All right. And this one, I guess he's looking at merchandise. Maybe he just bought something really cool. Or that's right, I think he's digging through his bag or something. Oh, he's getting ready to hoist his bag. So this is a bit harder of one. So his bag, you know, I would show a little bit of weight to it. I think your arms got a little small. Let's see. You know, maybe he's about to hoist this bag. It's a backpack, right? Or some kind of yeah, it's a backpack. The second camera angle, you can see his other arm is on a strap. And so really maybe have it weighted down a little bit to show this thing has some weight, some resistance. Does that make sense? Use that body language. I'm kind of trying to use the bend of his back here to lead the eye, right, to that spot. So I'm kind of going like, right? So yeah, that's about it. And I noticed that with this guy too. Just like really try to simplify some of this. Some of these shapes can get complicated in our models, but let's try to find that motion, you know, and maybe just simplify a little bit. Okay. But proportions are looking really good, and you have some bold choices. Maybe just track some of these things. But yeah. And whatever he was doing with his phone, it's kind of a wacky one to draw, but what I really wanted to point out was the just that arc of that back. So that's all. All right, Megan. Thank you. Jennifer. Awesome. This was a selfie one, I guess. And I think, so this might be intentional, but I think your proportions get, what do you call it? A little cartoony, but some of it's really fun. Like, I love this drawing. So really nice, Jennifer. I think this is really fun. I think he looks a little bit like he's taken a picture. He doesn't look as tired. Because I remember this is that exhaustion pose again. But it's really like the boldness and the feeling of it, so I'm not going to pick on it. Anyway, this one, I think the proportions just get a little cartoony. And like the arms are really big in comparison with the legs. And it's just one of those things, just like that quick map out. I like, this was when he was taking a selfie. Oop. Sorry, I gotta move my drawing here a second. There we go. This is the other angle of the selfie, which is cool. I love the little hang 10. Or not hang 10. What do you call it? What do you call that? Chakra? Yeah. Yeah, maybe push that arm straighter, you know? I think I made mine too. But when we lay out this idea of, and it's hard, I gotta say, with all these baggy clothes, it's a little more difficult, you know? I love your hat shape. That's really fun, though. I mean, there's nothing wrong with cartoons, man. But it just depends on the intention. I think my proportions are getting wacky here. Trying to make this fit, but yeah. So watch those proportions. I just love this idea. I just thought I'd throw it on there. This was really fun. Love it. Got a full-blown illustration here. Yeah, so those proportions are looking really fun. You know, really, I love his head shape. This is just great. Really good. This one, another cartoony kind of vibe here. Wow, it's the top of the hour. I can't believe it. All right. Megan says, hey, did you get that selfie posted for us to see? Oh, I never did. I'll have to post that selfie. Thanks for asking. Alrighty, here we go. Well, I want to finish this up here. I don't want to leave anybody out, but so I'll move on from Jennifer, but really cute, fun ideas, a lot of life in your drawings. And Mr. Matt, our fearless model, these are some that he submitted from last week. A similar note, Matt, just I love the arc of the back you have in this. This was from Uncle Ralph here, our crazy uncle on the 4th of July theme, which was pretty funny how that came together. But I love the arc of the back. This is very cartoony. So nothing wrong with cartoons, man. Same with that. This one, I think he was lighting it with a his cigarette, lighting the firecracker. Let's see. Okay. So this one, I think we could have done more with, and I'm just going to go cartoony like you did. But I think we could have had his, let's see here. What do you got here? So his right leg is kind of zooming forward, and we have that twist of his body, the drag of his arm there. I feel like you're leading with his head, and I kind of want to push it so he's leading with his chest, and his head is looking back and it's dragging back. Does that make sense? So you're getting more of a, instead of his head forward and his chest back, and I think it's almost like it's slowing the drawing down in a way. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna just fart around with the movement here, and I'll do the same leg you have going forward. I mean, part of me, instead of both of them being bent, I almost want to straighten one out, but that's okay. But how about I at least drag this one back? Because you're doing a cartoony thing, and sometimes physics don't always have to work, right, with cartoons. But I do want to try to find that movement and what's going to help me. Let's see. So I kind of get that neck in there and attach his head to his neck. And I know we're doing a cartoony vibe here, but and is he doing like a fist bump, like, yeah, you know, with that front arm, or is he swinging it like in a run? So I'll put it up as a fist bump kind of a thing. Or fist bump, fist pump. And he's got his little short shorts on. It's funny. So yeah, I'm leading with the chest and dragging the head. I think that's the biggest thing. And it's, you know, it's all these little weird decisions we have to make. But you have so much going on, like fist bumping or fist pumping and excited face, you know, and you also have this arm dragging. And it's like, well, okay, do we need to simplify some of these ideas instead of trying to get them all in there? What's the most important idea? And stage that really well. I think I cut my head off there, my flying hat, but that's okay. All right, that's about it. Mr. Matt, great stuff. Thank you guys for getting in the mud. Have a great week.